welcome back to the Run as One Soccer Show. We are here. We're excited to be here with you guys. And this is about what it's about with the New Mexico Runners. And I'm excited to be here. Andres Trujillo, team owner of the New Mexico Runners.
And I'm Charlie Bickle, team statistician. Thank you so much for tuning us in this afternoon.
Absolutely, Charlie. I mean, man, I tell you what, this is super exciting because we started the Run as One show. This is episode 3, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah, we kind of had a break there because we were on a bye week last week. We had the game against Rio Grande Valley, and then we turned around against Colorado Inferno. But, we're back, and I'm so happy to be back. We're, as you can see, on location. We're not in the arena this week. We're actually at the High Noon Restaurant and Saloon in Old Town Albuquerque, which is my family's restaurant, which has been owned and operated by my family for 47 years. So,
and I'll tell you what, Charlie, I got to say thanks to High Noon Restaurant and Saloon. We'll show some photos here. They are an icon in Albuquerque, here in Old Town. And so, it's really cool to see what all the great things they offer in our community, the great food, the history, I think, is the most important part of the High Noon Restaurant Saloon. So give us a little bit of a rundown about the High Noon Restaurant and Saloon. When was it started? How did it come to be?
Absolutely. So it was started in 1974 by my grandfather and my grandmother, Charles and Shirley Villa, and it was Old Town's original steakhouse. And the story in my family is my grandfather always had a really sensitive stomach. He couldn't eat a lot of chili, but he loved great steaks, and he was Italian, so he liked some pasta too. So he wanted a place in Old Town because he loved Old Town Albuquerque where he could eat the food he liked. And since it didn't exist, he decided to create it on his own. So like I said before, we've been owned and operated for 47 years. The building we're in is actually 300 years old, and it was even featured on an episode of the Travel Channel's Dead Files television show, if any of you have ever watched that, because the building is haunted, believe it or not, Andres. I hope the ghosts don't decide to become our fourth guest on the show tonight.
So this place is haunted.
Oh, yeah, there's 3 ghosts
So
in this place.
we talk about a little bit about haunting, and there's New Mexico has aliens and there's ghosts and all, and Old Town's pretty haunted itself. So I mean, what have been key indicators or red flags of that this place is haunted?
So one of the things that the Dead Files episode does is they bring in a former NY police investigator detective who comes through and he does a lot of research. And so what they determined was there's actually what they call 3 conscious dead residing in this building. And they all kind of have different stories. Real quick, I mean, one of them was a woman who actually lived in this building. And then the other one is a guy by the name of Milton Yarberry. If you look him up, the New Mexico historians out there will know he was one of the first town marshals of Albuquerque back when the city was really only out to the confines of Old Town. So some real cool history there. And then another one was a kid who had unfortunately lost his life at a New Year's party in, I believe it was in the late 1950s. But They're all chilling. They're hanging out. They're enjoying our good food and our even better spirits. So, I mean, we have spirits in both terms. We've got 40 tequilas behind the bar, and we have 3 conscious dead. So come check it out. We have everything down here.
And first and foremost, and we keep saying this over and over again, but we want to thank High Noon Restaurant and Saloon for being a sponsor of the New Mexico Runners this season. And, of course, they are the Blue Card sponsor. And so, hey, if you come to the New Mexico Runners game, you get a Blue Card, okay? And the Blue Card has a coupon for a free dessert or appetizer on the back of it. So got to go to our home games. Of course, our next home game, we'll talk a little bit about it coming up February 26th. But they sponsored that Blue Card. And so definitely we thank them for allowing us to do the show on location. And, let's dive into and get the Run as One show, episode 3 started. We have a special guest coming your way, number 8, Jackson Rogers, defender of the New Mexico Runners. He'll be on the show in just a few to talk about the season thus far. But, Charlie, let's rock and roll and kind of go into things here.
Cool. So we can just do a bit of a recap here. So we faced the Rio Grande Valley Barracudas for the first time in our program history. And I don't think, it was definitely not the outcome we were looking for, but I think we learned a lot of, good things about how they play as a team. And I think really, Andres, the key with facing them is they play a different style of soccer than what we've seen in the past. The teams in our division specifically, the Wichita Wings come to mind, obviously the Colorado Inferno FC, they're tempo teams. They like to play fast. And the thing about the Rio Grande Valley team is they were a much more passive offense, probably the most passive offense we faced all year, which was not something that I was expecting, knowing what I know about their forwards. So it was really interesting to face that different kind of opponent, but I think we definitely learned what we needed to coming out of that game. And then, of course, we had the game against Colorado Inferno. It was the start of a 3-game series that it's a 1 home, 2 away. So we're actually on the road in a couple days to head up there to Colorado to face them again. But that one was the outcome that we were looking for. We got the W. It was a 12-9 victory, and a lot of interesting stats that came out of that game.
Absolutely. And what was great about our game against Colorado is you talk about the chemistry evolving into what we see now. And I think that kind of kicked off when we defeated Wichita in Wichita, the Wings in Wichita. And right now Wichita sits at the number 1 spot. But we were able to defeat the Wichita Wings, and I think that really kickstarted a spark with our guys to fill out the void of, okay, what do we do? How do we build this chemistry with our new guys, our veterans, and all that? And definitely that's what's really cool about our squad. And we saw on Saturday here at home against Colorado Inferno, and that defeat of 12-9 defeat. We extinguished the Inferno, as they say, right?
We put them out. We put the fire out. It was so interesting because it was the first time all season except for, let me preface this. First time in a win that we had multiple players with hat tricks. We had both Jacob Gondorilla and Froylan Ramirez both finishing with 3 goals apiece. Although, if anybody didn't watch the game, go back and watch the film. That was a wacky game. It involved a couple of own goals. It was very interesting. Actually, our guest Jackson Rogers got credited with a goal. He didn't actually score, believe it or not, because I have to credit somebody with the goal, and he was the nearest guy in the vicinity when Colorado Inferno knocked that one inside our own goal for us. So that was great. But I mean, when you have multiple players get that many shots, I mean, you had 6 goals between Froyland and Gandaria. I mean, that's half of our offensive output. That's really impressive. And, we have to lean on our veterans in this team when we're building up and developing this new talent. And that's one of the keys to our success.
Absolutely. And so before we dive into our highlights against Colorado, let's go ahead and don't forget, guys, we need your help supporting the show, supporting what we got going on here. So be sure you like the show, right? Smash that like button right there in the bottom. We're Facebooking it, and a comment. Like, we're here to engage with you. You got questions, we've got answers, and so make sure you share the show as well. That's super important for this to get out to everybody. We want Runners fans to be excited about what we got going on and get the behind the scenes of what the New Mexico Runners organization is all about. And so you can do that. Just like the show, love the show, okay? Comment and share the show as well. So, Charlie, I think we're ready for some highlights. What do you say?
Yeah, let's get into it. I'd love to go over this. So here we go. We're going to start with the bottom. Got Miguel Garcia will get us started right away. Here we come here. And then, of course, the own goal that I talked about. So this goal is actually credited to Jackson Rogers, but as you can see, he didn't quite score it. Then we got Sergio Fuentes getting in on the action here. Once again, I mean, we're jumping out to an early lead at home. That seems to really be the key to our success. We like to play from, front and let the other team catch up. So there's Gondorilla getting in on the action. And there's Froyland. He's 2 goals, 1 away from his hat trick. That was awesome. Here comes the hat trick. They were back-to-back goals. And that always fires the crowd up when you can get 2 goals back-to-back. And then, of course, here we go, Miguel. That's his 2nd goal of the night. So, yeah, we've got 3, 3, and 2 down the score sheet. That's just impressive. But it's also distributed, Andres, and that's so important. You can't just have one player with all your offensive output, because obviously that's going to draw the defense's attention to a great degree. And even Colt Nord getting in on the action. He hadn't scored in a couple of games, so I was happy for that. And then Rashad, the hero from Wichita.
Cobra Kai,
back in on the action too. And there's your final, 12-9. And so once this clip's just going to finish up here, but one of the really interesting stats that I dug up, because this is what this team does to me on this. Okay, they keep me up till 2 in the morning because they're giving me such good stuff to talk about. I'm telling you, I give them a hard time a little bit, but it's good content. So the interesting thing about this game, and so we were down 3-6 to the Inferno with 8:37 to go in the second period. We came back and won the game 12-9. And I got to tell you, when I saw that we were down 3-6, I was a little nervous. And I don't usually get nervous, but I know Inferno. They're a well-coached program, and they're a really impressive organization, and they played as a team together for a long time. They're having a down year. They're 0-6 this year. That's very uncharacteristic of them as a team. They're usually very strong. When they get a lead, they don't relinquish it. So the fact that we were able to come back from a 3-goal deficit and turn that into a 3-goal victory is just really mind-boggling. And you'll never guess when the last time that happened. We have to go all the way back to March 9th of 2019 when we were at Denver for Colorado Rumble. We were trailing that team 7-4, and
That
we
long
turned
ago.
around and
Holy
won
moly.
that game by 8-7. And I still think this game that we did this last Saturday was more impressive because we won that game by 3. We barely edged out Colorado with 1 goal in overtime, whereas we managed to have a 6-goal turnaround
Yes.
to get the 3-goal margin of victory. So both impressive stats, but yeah, over 3 years ago was the last time that happened. So we had history being made last Saturday.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now we got to get Jackson in here. He's about ready to do a training session, so let me get him potted up here and introduce our number 8 defender here. Where are we at? Where are we at? Oh, we got to make sure he's unmuted here, and I think he's unmuted. He can hear us. Jackson, you there?
Hey guys, how are you?
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Good to see you, man.
Good,
You're out
I'm
in
good.
the
If you
field,
hear a little,
literally.
I am. I'm waiting for some of my girls' teams to show up for practice today. So if you hear a little bit of wind, it's because I'm out in the open. So.
Cool, man. Well, yeah, I mean, we know Jackson Rogers having himself a pretty impressive year. 7 points, 4 goals, 3 assists, and of course, he's got a 33% save percentage. How is that possible? He's a good player. Well, as we know about Jackson, he'll throw that goalie jersey on every once in a while and be the
Make
sixth
that sixth attacker,
for us.
yeah.
It's
Yep, I am.
and you know, Jackson, I'm so happy that we got you on the show. I have to ask you. You know, we get down to the inferno, 3-6. You know that during that last game, I know in soccer the goals come with great frequency, especially in indoor, but that's a pretty big deficit. What was the pulse of the team? What were they feeling at that point? Because you guys responded to that deficit with a 4-0 run. Just kind of walk me through what was going through your guys' head when that happened.
Yes, I mean, obviously it was a little tough because we started up 2 goals, right? We had some defensive mistakes, some just simple balls that we cleared out for give them top of the box restarts, which are always dangerous, especially for a team like Colorado, who is pretty good at those set pieces. So then, when they tie it up, it's a little frustrating. And then when they go ahead and we're down by a couple, it's like, all right, man, we got to step it up. But we're confident as a team, right? We got great leadership with the coaches, with Captain Froy, and then just confidence in ourselves that, hey, we're going to come back in this. The mood going into halftime in the locker room was not negative at all. It was very exciting, very positive. We knew we still had 30 minutes to go. And then myself, I didn't want to take the 6 attacker jersey out because I don't want to have to use it. But it's always something, especially in indoor. You bring it out on the bench with you and hope that you don't have to use it, which is exactly what I didn't. I didn't have to use it, and I'm glad to not have to put that jersey on at halftime.
Now, real quick, Jackson. Give us a little bit of a rundown of the chemistry. Now, obviously, it was a little bit of a rough start for us in the beginning of the season, and as we progressed, players kind of coming and going. We definitely see a change of wins now. Now that we have 2 wins under our belt, even though our record is 2-6, I feel like our record doesn't reflect what we've accomplished as a team this season. Walk us through that transition from the beginning to now with that chemistry.
Yeah, so I mean, we started off the season obviously the way that we wanted, 0-5 to start, but that win against Wichita definitely gave us some big hopes for the season. That was the halfway point, so we knew we still had 6 more games. It was tough because those first 2 games were back to back in Omaha, long travel, long weekend, and then we had Amarillo back to back, New Year's Day, home and away. So those were both, again, hard games because you have to travel for them. But then again, they had to travel for us, so there's no excuse for that really. But as the season goes on, we get the win against Wichita, gives us big hopes. RGV, we knew they were going to be tough, so obviously that's a game that we hate to lose, but lost to, I would say, a really good team. They're the only undefeated team right now, so that's a game that is not as hard to swallow when you lose. And then coming back to beat Colorado, and then we have to play them 2 more times. So ideally, that's at least 2 more wins that we know we can get. We got Wichita again coming up for the next home game that we also feel, we beat them away. So at home, winning at home is something that we have to do. So that game, and then we also have Turlock Express. So, we got some good games coming up, and guys leave at the beginning of the season. That's always going to happen. As the squad gets narrowed down, less and less people, you just become tighter as a team, right? Because you have to. You go from 35 players to 20 players, and as a team, you got to stay together, right? And I think that's what we're doing very well this year. That people know their roles. They know that we need them there. If they can't make practice, they make sure to make the next one. right? So it's a good to see a good team cohesion there, which is definitely helping us for the rest of the season.
And
Absolutely. Oh, sorry,
oh
Charlie.
no,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and on a personal note, Jackson, you have and we've kind of been on this journey together. I remember when we did the first coaches show, you were actually watching it, and at
Yeah.
one point, I remember you put out a great comment after someone had asked us when the wins were coming, and you said the wins were coming, and I effectively statistically guaranteed it. So I want to say
Yeah.
thank you for not making me look bad, because I was really worried. I
Right.
told others, I said, man, I hope I didn't put Jackson in a weird spot there, because I really
Oh
think
no,
we
we
knew it. We could see what was happening with the team. It was inevitable.
yeah, I mean, it's like I said, and you guys have said it, indoor, it's a game where goals come left and right, right? I mean, look at our Omaha games, right? I think both games had 20, 25 plus goals. I mean, and
Hmm.
that's indoor. It's going to happen, right? So for the RGV game at home, that 8-3, that's almost a rarity in indoor. You hardly see teams get stuck to 3 goals, let alone 8 goals, right? Most teams are just naturally going to be scoring goals left and right because it's indoor. It's so close, right? It's a small field. So, but yeah, I mean, I know there was a little concern at the beginning that wins aren't going to come, but they'll get there. As the season goes on, we're becoming more of a team, and wins are going to happen. I fully expect at least 4 more wins out of this season,
So real
personally.
quickly here, and I know you're about ready to do some practicing, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. What you do with
Yeah.
Rio? Okay, so coming from Missouri, you played in the M3 with the Springfield Demise. What are your
Hmm.
takeaways from the differences of New Mexico versus being in Springfield? It's a homecoming for you this season, especially because you're from Rio
Yeah.
Rancho, and so talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So the one thing I definitely can say at the beginning of the season I didn't expect, and by beginning of the season I mean like the summer before, I didn't expect to be living in New Mexico again. So being able to be back here is awesome. One, to be back kind of where I grew up. Being able to play with guys that I played with before, like Miguel and Jacob. I played club with them, so I've known them since I was like 7 or 8. So that's awesome being back with them. But the difference in the from the PASL to the M3 to the M2, the only experience I had was one, watching the games, and then two, we played. My Springfield Demise team played a exhibition game against Wichita Wings. I believe that was 2019,
Okay.
and it was a good game. Demise was winning 5-4 into the fourth quarter. We ended up losing 8-5. And Wichita at home is a very good team. So there was jumping up to the M2 is a different game for us. And then now moving into a full season of M2, I mean, you could just see the level increase from PASL/M3 to M2. It's drastic, right? It's a very huge difference because at this point it's a professional level. So you're going to get good players. You're going to get good teams all around. There's really not any weak teams in the league anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I know you got in like 5 minutes. You got some training. So talk a little bit
Yeah,
about what you do now. One thing that's really great about you is you're so in touch with our community. You get with the kids. You're coaching kids. You're bettering soccer in New Mexico and starting at the youth level. So talk a little bit about you're with the Rio and talk a little bit about what you do with them. And this is a fairly new job for you and all the
yeah.
great things you're doing with our youth.
Yeah, so took on the role technically January 1st was technically my first day. And I am the girls director of coaching for Rio Rapids U11 through U15. So I take all the girls that are coming out of the youth academy. I help build them up until they're ready to go to the GA, which you can kind of see in the background. There's some girls GA team over there, and that's like U16, U17 girls. So they're getting ready for some big games coming up. Basically ECNL equivalent, but girls side. So
Okay.
they'll go to like California, Utah, Las Vegas, all that, big travel in the Southwest, which is awesome. So it's awesome to be able to help coach club in a city that, like I said, I didn't expect to move back here. So I'm blessed to have the opportunity, and then being able to help coach some of these young kids into the soccer opportunities that I had growing up. That's awesome. I mean, my goal is to stay around soccer as long as I can. Playing wise and coaching wise is just, it's awesome to have.
Absolutely. And I know Charlie wanted to kind of round things out here with this interview with you there, Jackson.
I just wanted to say, Jackson, you're one of 3 players on our team that scored multiple goals in multiple contests. You're a really integral part, and I really enjoy watching you play because there are what I call energy players on our team, and you're one of those energy players. So, and I know you're always going to have a good attitude no matter what. situation we've got going on. So I'm just happy that you're on the team, and I'm glad to keep keeping your stats.
Thank you. Hey, I appreciate it, man. Keep those stats are awesome. I love being able, I feel like I'm having a decent season. I've had a couple bad games. Don't get me wrong. Everybody does. Wichita, I think, was, even though I had 2 assists in that game, I still feel like I didn't do what I needed. But luckily, we got a team that steps up and helps out when people are down. So I'm, thankful for you two guys, Andres for putting the team together, for Coach, the team, and then Charlie for keeping those stats, and just being a presence on the social media. It's awesome. We love having you guys.
Absolutely. And so now, before we send you off, we're headed to Colorado this Saturday. You got a one statement sentence that you want to put out there to our fans. What is it?
We're gonna keep the wins going. We got two more away games that we're playing for them, and like I said, we fully expect those to be wins. So fans, come out, watch us, support us online. If you can make it the Colorado trip, awesome. If not, we'll see you guys at home in Wichita, and we're coming back with a win.
The extended sentence, but
I like it, man. Thanks.
I'm a talker. I like to talk.
we gotta have Jackson come in person next
no
time,
question.
and definitely we'll talk. Have him on board.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right, Jackson. We'll have a good practice and training session with your youth, and we'll see
Thank
you
you,
on
guys.
Saturday, my man.
Awesome. Hey, we'll see you guys. Have a good one. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jackson. All right, there's Jackson right there. We appreciate he's training. Oh, we got to get Bus back in here. There we go.
And Andres, I love that you brought up the thing about the community, because that is really what we're trying to do, right? We're establishing a culture of soccer in the state of New Mexico
Yes.
that everybody can be proud of at all levels. I think it's one of the reasons that our mascot is so universally adored throughout the state.
Absolutely.
Is because Rio represents that culture of soccer that we're trying to bring, and to everybody in New Mexico.
Mhm.
That's really what we're trying to accomplish.
Well, you talk about the culture of soccer here in New Mexico, and I think there's soccer's always been a part of New Mexico, and the crazy thing is, I feel like we've kind of lost our way in a way, and the whole purpose of the New Mexico Runners organization is to find that again. And most people don't understand that talking about road runners, how deep it represents our state is, the old Native American lore is that a roadrunner will always lead you back to home. And if you get lost, just follow the tracks of a roadrunner and you'll find your way. And so that's really cool, because with the New Mexico Runners organization, that's what we're doing. With all the individuals that are a part of our organization, like Coach Famoletta, he is New Mexico soccer through and through. Went to Cibola High School, is in the Cibola High School Athletics Hall of Fame, and he's in the USL Soccer Hall of Fame. And for him to be a part of our organization has been such a blessing and a wonderful opportunity to be soccer of New Mexico soccer.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. I think we started to lose our way a little bit when we lost the UNM men's soccer team. That dealt a blow to the people of New Mexico, who really love that team. I remember me and my sister, who played AYSO soccer, going out there when we were kids, and we're devastated when we lost that program. Now, obviously, we still have the women's team, and they're doing fantastic. They've got back-to-back Mountain West championships, but the people of this state need soccer, and I think the arena soccer provides them a different type of entertainment than you would get from watching the traditional outdoor game, because it's indoors and it's exciting. It's really like a cross between hockey and soccer, and that's why I love it so much, because it's really kind of the every sports fan's perfect sport to really watch. And if you are not a fan of arena soccer, it's probably because you haven't seen any games yet, because I'm pretty sure once one game is all it takes, you'll be hooked.
Absolutely. And I got to tell you, it's one of those things where we've been doing this show. This is the third show. And, for us to break this down and educate New Mexicans about arena soccer, so, is really important. And we will be in the future. And next week's show, we will actually be providing a segment called Arena Soccer 101. And we're going to go through some rules and some understanding of arena soccer, so that way you guys can follow and be more educated about it, because I do think there is a large population of folks that aren't educated in arena soccer, and they kind of shy away from what we're doing because they don't understand it. And most people, they're afraid of things they don't understand, right? Isn't that the old adage?
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, when I was talking to one of my fellow statisticians that I work with, he was asking me, what it was like to score an arena soccer game, and I was telling him, I was like, well, there's penalties and there's power plays, and he was like, but it's a soccer game. I was like, yes, but it's an indoor soccer game, and so the rules are very different. And so I think, if you're just a common fan, you come to the game for the first time, you see the whistle get blown because they kicked the ball over 3 lines, or all of a sudden the teams are playing 5-on-6 and you can't understand why. Well, that's what this segment, Arena Soccer 101, is designed to help with. Is if people get a greater understanding of it, maybe they don't really shy away from it so much.
Yeah.
And we can because we want fan engagement. We're trying to drive
Absolutely.
fan engagement because that is what makes the Rio Rancho Event Center an intimidating place to play, and that's exactly what we're trying to do.
And not to mention, it actually is one of the favorite places to play that all teams love to come out. Our visiting teams, they love playing at our arena.
What do we always hear? It's so great.
Oh,
right?
yeah. So, and so we, if an injury happens or somebody tries to fake it with the other team, of course we're going to play a Baby Cry sound. We're going to, the music is exciting. The energy is exciting. And so, again, we really need your support as we move forward. We will be hitting our 5th home game coming up this 26th of this month, February 26th. So, Charlie, give us the rundown of February 26th.
So, mark this date on your calendars, folks, because the Wichita Wings, the team that was undefeated until we got a hold of them back in Wichita, they're coming to town, and I have a feeling that they're going to be a little angry about what we did to them back at the Hartman Arena. So we're going to need every little help we can get in order to ensure we get another win, because there would be nothing better. First of all, if you're looking at playoff scenarios, we need to continue this winning momentum. We got to sweep the series against Colorado, figure out a way to beat Turlock, and obviously figure out a way to sweep the series with Wichita. But it will help our team to such a degree to be able to get that sweep against Wichita. I mean, it means so much for playoff seeding.
Absolutely. And what's really cool about the February 26th game, it is Faith and Family Night. So discounted group tickets for faith and church groups. So if you're with Calvary, if you're with Legacy, if you're with Sagebrush, any other church or faith group that's out there, discounted tickets. So make sure you get online at nmrunners.com /faith-and-family and get those $12 tickets, okay? Those are exclusive to those faith and church groups, and it's going to be a great night. And when we talk about faith, our organization is built on faith. We're a very faith-based family, and our organization, we pray before every game. Of course, not to win. It is of the safety and excitement and the fun and the passion of a successful arena soccer game. And and that's one thing that's special and unique to the New Mexico Runners. No other team in the league does this, and we do. So it's very special that we do what we do with our organization. And on Saturday, February 26th, kickoff at 5:05. Doors open at 4. Get there early. New Mexico, we in New Mexico like to show up a little late, so get there early for our game. We really need to. We want you guys to enjoy the pregame festivities, if you will.
Yeah, exactly, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got smoke, we've got light effects, we've got fog machine, everything, and even you might even see. Are we going to get cool cars again?
We're going to have cool cars. We will have motorcycles, and it'll be the Rebels with a Cause, which is an organization dedicated to veterans. Okay, and they're going to be at the show. So cool motorcycles on Saturday, the 26th, and of course, we're going to be doing all kinds of other different things that are going to be exciting, and we will announce those as they come up. So special guest appearances from cool organizations. Yeah.
You don't want to miss the pregame antics, guys. It's probably about half the fun.
Absolutely. So let's kind of round things out here, Char, with some highlights here, and if I can get the the camera angle to switch, we're still stuck on Charlie, so we might have to have Charlie see the camera angle.
That's all right.
Okay, there we go. Oh, we're figuring this out here. So let's go ahead and get highlights and run down the highlights one more time.
Just take another look at this. So we have 3 players on our team with multiple goals scored in multiple games. We got Froylan Remedios, Sergio Fuentes. 4. Froylan, Sergio, Jacob, and Jackson. So they're all highlighted, really featured in this clip, and they're going to be in full force next game. I don't believe that we will score 7 goals to win against Wichita this weekend. I believe we're going to have to score well over 10, to have a good chance against that.
Absolutely. And the thing is, we got to look forward to is obviously it's a step-by-step basis. Colorado is next. We got to turn around and face them again. They're going to be angry. So we go on Saturday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. It'll be streaming on the Colorado Inferno Facebook page. So look for that on our social media. And that's where we're going to be, going up to Colorado Springs to look to get 2 on them this season.
Yep.
Exactly. I think overall we are currently 2-4 against them overall in history.
That's correct, yeah. And I love to keep those historical stats. It's a little bit difficult because teams, much like players coming and going in the M2 league, teams come and go too. That's just part of the nature of it. But fortunately, other than the statistics that we lost during the 2020 season, because obviously COVID shortened the season, so it's statistically not relevant, yeah, we have 2-4 as our basically program record against that team. And at the end of this year, Andres, we could be 500 with a really classy, well-run organization.
I could take that. I think that's a great.
Wouldn't that be great?
Oh, that would be good. And the thing is that our guys aren't giving up. I would have to say this season has been one of the one seasons that in past seasons we have guys that would come and go. Then they would kind of just drop off. We saw that in the second season, I believe, when we went to Wichita Falls, Texas, and we only had a few guys on the roster. I think it was a total of 7 guys.
Yep.
So this is what's really cool about this season. And I got to tell you, this is my favorite season yet to date, and our favorite group of guys to date. And it's just great to see these guys just rock and roll and do a great job putting on a show for our fans and just really representing New Mexico.
Exactly. Yep. No, it's a great product that we're putting out there. And when I look at our organization compared to the organizations that are considered to be like the pillars of our league, the Colorado Inferno, the Wichita Wings, the only thing that separates us and them is years in operation. And we will get there. That's not something that we can snap our fingers and create. But we're here for the long haul. We're building a culture, and if you guys come out and continue to support us, we're going to have success. So that's really the key and the message. Just come and support your local team, and we are going to be your New Mexico Runners for as long as we can possibly exist.
Absolutely. So we're about ready to wind down the show here. But first and foremost, before we wind down the show, we are live here on location at High Noon Restaurant and Saloon here in Old Town. So thanks to them for being a great sponsor this season. We appreciate everything they've done. It's a great place to enjoy a wonderful, intimate environment. I tell you what, so I'm going to throw a slideshow up here, Charlie, and so go on and let's talk a little bit about High Noon and give the rundown. I know Valentine's Day is coming up, so talk about that.
I knew you were going to that. So yeah, speaking of Valentine's Day, we're typically not open on Mondays, but this Monday being Valentine's Day, we are. It's not too late. Give us a call at 505-765-1455, or you can go on our website, highnoonrestaurant.com, or you can find us on Open Table. Get yourself some Valentine's Day reservations. It's a great environment to bring your Valentine. Yeah, bring that special someone in your life down and have a good Valentine's Day dinner down here. We'll get you great steaks, better margaritas, and just a fantastic atmosphere here in Old Town with a side of history. So you'll really enjoy it.
Absolutely there. And so, again, thank you to High Noon Restaurant and Saloon for being a great partner. Remember, you can get a discount. Yes, that's right. A free appetizer or a free dessert. But you got to come to the New Mexico Runners game and show that blue card on the back of the digital programs. But you got to come to the game to collect it. So we're excited to be a part of High Noon Restaurant Saloon and being a part of New Mexico. So with that being said, Charlie, any last words you got to say here before we wind down the show and wrap it up?
Just that I really enjoy doing the show in person with you versus remotely. I like this momentum and this rhythm we've got going, and I want to keep it up. So
absolutely, it's just fun to be in person, and the dynamic is great, and it was fun. It was glad. Thanks to Jackson Rogers, number 8, your defender, for being a part of the show, and he had so many great things to say. So I really want to get him in person next time we set up a show.
Absolutely, no question. We'll bring even a couple more players in for you guys. By the end of the year, we want to make sure you've talked to everybody. So that's what our goal is.
I love to hear it. All right, Andres Trujillo, owner of the New Mexico Runners.
Charlie Bickle, team statistician. Thanks so much for joining us, and have a great night.
We'll see you guys later.